Happy hump day. Ryan McGuffey here on the Recap Lunch Hour. Facebook, YouTube, everywhere you can find me. Let's go. I got a couple of questions for you, everybody, today. A couple of stuff to talk about, a couple of things to talk about. Baseball related, some baseball nuggets happening as we go live here. The Cubs are involved in a trade. We will get to that momentarily. And the Bears are back at Hallis Hall and ready to go. Well, getting ready to go for the Vikings. Caleb Williams just met the media moments ago and seemed like his old confident self. I actually love the way he carries himself at the podium. I'm a huge fan of listening to him. He's cerebral. He listens to the question, gives you a good answer, a thoughtful answer. And he said he's ready for the king of the zero blitz, Brian Flores. We know the Vikings are going to bring the kitchen sink at him. And, we'll see. Last night on Felco Football Recap Live, myself, Tommy Waddle, Alex Brown. Outside of Alex, nobody else is expecting much this Sunday. JC, Caleb's a Warrior. You're on board. Yeah, I love what I saw from Caleb Williams. Not just in this game, but I know he's had some tough games. But there's a couple things I want to talk about with Caleb. I know that, I know that we're down thinking, well, Jaden Daniels. I'm still, the dude's only thrown 5 interceptions. Like, I know that he hasn't had the flashy, he hasn't thrown for anything more than 231, which is what he threw for on Sunday, since the game against Carolina when he threw for 304. All right. I mean, the Jacksonville game to me was his best game, the 4 touchdowns he threw. All 9 of his touchdowns in a 4-game span. He has not thrown a touchdown during the 4-game losing streak. Not thrown a touchdown during the 4-game losing streak. He has also not thrown an interception. So I think that's important to note. I think it's important to note that Caleb has not turned the ball over. He's not fumbled the football. He's gotten sacked a boatload. We know that. He's gotten sacked 21 times in the 4-game losing streak. That's not good. But there's a lot more to like, I think, of what's coming. I've been saying for a while that I would play Caleb on a futures bet to win Rookie of the Year. I probably, at this point, I'm not going to suggest that. If anything, I would suggest betting Bo Nix from Denver for Rookie of the Year. That guy not getting enough credit for what he's doing. I think the last time I checked, he was second to win the award, second favorite to win the award. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Bo Nix. Yeah, plus 300. 3-1 for Bo Nix. I'm not going to lay money on Jaden Daniels at minus 400 at this point. Caleb is 5th at 40-1 to win Rookie of the Year. Something crazy would have to happen for that. Where's Cap? This is the Recap Lunch Hour, man, with me, Ryan McGuffey. I'm sorry to disappoint. He's on here every once in a while. He may pop in. We'll see. But the Recap Lunch Hour every day here on the Recap with me, Ryan McGuffey. JC, do you think having an offensive coordinator work from the booth makes a difference versus being on the sideline? I think this is preference. We've seen successful coordinators do both. We've seen guys up top. We've seen guys down on the field. You're going to laugh when I say Matt Nagy is on the field. I know. You got Andy Reid. I know that Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but there are plenty. It's probably 50-50. I think what I loved about seeing Thomas Brown up there was how excited he got. When the Bears scored a touchdown. Rudy, should we expect more of the quick outs and slants with Flores heavy blitz this Sunday? What would you do to counter the heavy blitz? Absolutely. Get rid of the ball. I mean, only Tua Tagovailoa from Miami got rid of the ball quicker on Sunday than Caleb Williams. So I think more of what we saw. Caleb says they still have 12 and 14 word play calls. He just said that about a half hour ago at Hallis Hall. That's fine. To me, it's just, he said they didn't oversimplify anything. Now, he also didn't say anything about scaling back the plays. If you walk in with 60 plays, maybe they only ran 30, maybe they only had 35 on the play sheet this week. I don't think they took out or added to any plays. It was more about simplifying what you have on the play call sheet. He didn't seem to think Thomas Brown was the reason he ran for 70 yards? I don't know. So I do think Caleb getting rid of the ball quicker, Rudy, to your point here, I do think Caleb getting rid of the ball quicker is something that obviously A, worked, and B, is important if you're facing a ton of blitz pressure, which we should expect from the Vikings on Sunday. The Cubs, right before we came on, made a trade for Guardians reliever Eli Morgan. They also DFA'd Patrick Wisdom, so it's a combination move here. Usually, when you add somebody to the 40-man, you got to make room on the 40-man, and Patrick Wisdom is the guy on the outside looking in. So Eli Morgan, who is Eli Morgan? He was 3-0 with a 1.93 and 42 innings pitched last year for the Guardians. A lot of people loving this trade. I always find it hard to believe, though. Like, the Guardians, to me, they're just one of the classy organizations in major leagues. And look, they were just in the ALCS, and this guy's under control through 2028. So, I don't know. Like, first of all, I love the deal for the Cubs. They need as many late inning relievers as anyone. They blew 26 saves a year ago. I'm going to give you some Eli Morgan postseason numbers because they used him a lot in high leverage. He was good at home. He was good on the road. He was a 1.59 at home, 2.33 on the road. First half, second half splits, pretty comparable. Yeah, 1.98 in the first, 1.91 in the second half. I wanted to see what he did in the postseason. That's where, like, first of all, I know you're going to say, well, why does it matter? The Cubs haven't been in the postseason. Well, they're trying to get back there. And this year in the postseason, the dude was fantastic. I'm looking right here. 6 games, 4 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned, a 2.25 ERA, did not allow a home run, only allowed 2 hits, 2 walks. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, he pitched in 3 games against the Tigers, 3 games in games 2, 3, and 4 of the ALCS. What do you guys think? The Cubs need a ton. The Cubs need a ton of late inning relief. I think they need a closer. And, WWE says the Cubs are back. Is this a sign of things to come? I think so, but at what expense? We don't know. I mean, we know that the Cubs are not going to be in the Juan Soto sweepstakes. Why? I don't know. They don't want to pay they are one of the few teams. Well, they should be one of the few teams that can line up for his services. Instead, no, they're not going to. Eli wants to know, what are they trading Garrett? When? I think you mean when are they trading Garrett Crochet? Podcast dropped this morning with me and BA discussing this exact topic. It's on the channel. It's on anywhere you find podcasts, Apple, Spotify, etc. So Chris Getz had said that they would like to move him by the winter meetings. So by the end of the winter meetings, he also said they are looking for position players, and that's exactly what they should be looking for. I think it's a no-brainer. I think they have to get this trade right. I mean, that might sound like, obvious, Captain Obvious right here, but Garrett Crochet is the premier trade chip in the league. He's got 2 years of control, and there are, which team's going to step up and be most desperate? Is it going to be Baltimore? Is it going to be Philadelphia? Is it going to be Boston? At some point, Boston's going to want to be, not the 3rd or 4th best team in the AL East anymore. You got the Yankees, you got the Orioles. The Orioles have won 200 games in 2 years, have nothing to show for it. The Yankees came up short. Everyone needs pitching. The Dodgers had 2 pitchers throw over 100 innings last year, both of which did not pitch in the postseason. So they're probably losing Walker Buehler. There's a lot here with the Garrett Crochet sweepstakes. And Eli also wants to know what the payroll is going to be. I don't think it's going to be much higher than $100 million. And it depends if they can move Andrew Benintendi, Luis Robert. I mean, that's like, if they can move those guys, you're talking about a massive, massive drop in payroll. Sean, Patrick Wisdom gone from the Cubs. It's about time. Let's get a little Patrick Wisdom here. Patrick Wisdom's numbers with the Cubs. We know he was kind of all or nothing. He had 171 a year ago, just 8 homers, negative .4 WAR. Outside of that 2021 season, where he was Rookie of the Year, or rookie of the year, finished fourth in rookie of the year voting. It went down from there. He hit 2-0. He's hit 209, 208 with the Cubs, a 752 OPS, a 104 OPS plus 100s league average. He did hit 84 of his 88 career home runs. The guy he's got pop. 3 consecutive seasons, 28, 25, 23. But look, they have Paredes at third base. They have who's the kid at first base they traded for from the Dodgers. I'm blanking on his name right now. But there's really nowhere for him to be this year. Michael Busch. Okay. Michael Busch. That's who I was talking about. There's really he's kind of played himself out of options. So the Cubs have to DFA. So Patrick Wisdom is gone. Eli Morgan, he's in. And the winter meetings are coming up just in a few weeks. Also, the Cubs podcast about whether the Cubs are going to make some moves for Roki Sasaki, the newest Japanese sensation. The Cubs already with 2 of the better Japanese players in the game, and Seiya Suzuki, and we know about Shota Imanaga a year ago. So that's the breaking Cubs news right there, is that they acquired a 28-year-old reliever that's under control for the next 3 seasons. And I just saw something from my friend Mark Shanowski here regarding the Bulls. Everybody, you either love or hate this guy. ESPN has just reported Patrick Williams will miss tonight's game to get imaging on the same foot he had surgery on last season. That's not good. Not what you're looking for. Patrick Williams getting imaging on the same foot he had surgery on is not what you are looking to hear if you're a Bulls fan. And to be honest with you, I've said 5 for 90. I guess that's the price of doing business in the NBA. But this guy, to me, has been a very big disappointment. Also, Bears, they'll wear their striped jerseys and helmets on Sunday against the Vikings. In case you forgot what those look like, there's an old picture of Tariq Cohen from our friend Patrick Finley at the Sun-Times. This is the uniforms the Bears will wear on Sunday against the Vikings. Love them, hate them. I kind of actually like these alternate uniforms, to be honest with you. Wonder who picks them up, and who do you think gets non-tendered from the Cubs tomorrow? Good question. I don't really care about, does it really make, does it really matter who picks up Patrick Wisdom? In terms of the non-tender candidates, I'm going to pull them up right now. The non-tendered candidates for both the White Sox and the Cubs, because the White Sox have a couple too that I think are interesting. So I did see this. So I can tell you right now, Adbert Alzolay is going to be DFA'd. Jesse Rogers already reported that. He won't pitch until late 2025. So he's DFA'd. So he's gone. Nick Madrigal, bye-bye. There's zero reason to extend any kind of offer to him. Keegan Thompson, Caleb Killian, I could see both of those guys getting an offer. They're desperate for bullpen. Keegan Thompson's out of minor league options. Okay. Caleb Killian has been that guy, he had such promise when he came over to Chicago, and it just hasn't worked. Maybe a team tries to pull some reclamation project and the Cubs move on. Brennan Davis, we've heard for years about how great he's going to be. He's been injured for a million years. Patrick Wisdom already got DFA'd. Rob Zastryzny, old friend of the Cubs, he just got picked up a couple weeks ago. Probably gets an offer. Ethan Roberts. And then you keep going down here. Some of these guys, like Mike Tauchman, that'll be interesting. Mike Tauchman's been a good player for the Cubs. And Craig Counsell loves him. So I think Tauchman, I'm going to predict that Tauchman gets maybe a look or gets an offer sheet. Okay. So I'll go Mike Tauchman. Miles Mastrobuoni's another guy gone. Matt Mervis. These are all non-tender candidates. Now, when I'm down in the 17s in terms of players, those guys are fine. They're not, I don't think, but in terms of moving on from, Alzolay's gone, Madrigal's gone, Keegan Thompson could be gone. Wisdom, who's 6th on this list from Northside Baseball, he's already gone because that just happened. So that's the non-tender candidates. Here, I'll look. These are I'll look for the White Sox as well. Alzolay is expected to be DFA'd. The White Sox, they have quite a few. They have a couple of interesting ones. They've already moved on from Nicky Lopez. We know he's gone. Let's see here. There's a couple of guys. Colson Montgomery just got added to the White Sox 40-man. He's available on Zoom in about 15. I'm going to hop on that. But plenty to discuss there. When are they tendering Gavin Sheets, Andrew Vaughn? Oh, when are they tendering? Which one would you non-tender? Man, that's a good question, dude. I think here's the key. I got to pull up the arbitration prices, expectations for MLB players, because that's where we figure projection. Here it is. This is what I wanted to pull up. The White Sox. Okay, let's go to the Cubs first. Cubs. All right, you're looking at Tauchman's 2.9. Okay, I think he gets a sheet. Keegan Thompson's 1 million. I think he gets a flyer. So Wisdom's gone. He's projected at 3. Azolay's gone. He's projected at 2.3. I don't see any scenario Madrigal gets 2 million from the Cubs. So that leaves you room there. White Sox. Here's where it gets interesting. Nicky Lopez, 5.1, already gone. Matt Foster just seems to always hang on. Crochet's projected to get 2.9. He's obviously getting that. Andrew Vaughn, 6.4. Gavin Sheets, 2.6. So Andrew Vaughn, 6.4 million. I don't think that they get rid of either one. I don't. Andrew Vaughn's probably on his last shot. Gavin Sheets is 2. But Sean, I think Mastrobonis. You think Cap won a few slots on his birthday? Well, he's not in Vegas anymore. We did have a monster parlay that came up just short late. It was a real kick in the teeth. The Bears have all white jerseys. Well, that's because that's a special look they're going with on Sunday. Kalo's who's covering for him? How the hell do you say somebody's a bust in 10 games? Seriously. Tell me what a bust is. 4-6. Dude's led 2 game-winning drives of games they've lost. Commanders did everything he's supposed to do. Lost, not his fault. Goes down the field to Green Bay. Not his fault. That's 6-4 right there. What are you saying? He's a bust then too, Emmanuel? Hasn't thrown a pick. He's thrown 1 pick he's turned the ball over once his last 7 games. Bust. Okay. To each their own, man. Dude's thrown for 2,016 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's been sacked a league high 41 times. Bust. 62% completion. Bust. I've seen a hell of a lot shittier quarterbacks come through this town that I'd label bust. But you're going to do it in 10 games? What do you got, Emmanuel? You like the league's catching up a little bit to Jaden Daniels. Maybe he's got a better team. Maybe he's better. But you're going to sleep on Caleb. I'm saving receipts. And you can save this one too. You could say, what does he do well? He doesn't turn the ball over. First off, he comes with a high completion percentage. Now, I know his completion percentage during the 4-game losing streak has not been all that good. He had his highest completion percentage since the Jacksonville game last Sunday. But I'm trying to see what he's been during the 4-game losing streak here. It has not been great. 53, 53-7, 41-7, 74-2. My point is, he can throw balls in the tight windows. He's got a quick release. He's not forcing things now. That's fine. Shouldn't even respond. Hey, Laz, man of the people, dude. I'll respond. You want to come at me? Come at me. You want to compliment, and then we'll play the field in the middle too. Play the field too. Could either Horner or Bellinger get traded? Nico's going to be tough because the timeline on him is uncertain with the wrist surgery. I think he was definitely a candidate. Cody Bellinger, in talking with Bruce Levine, who's my co-host on Inside the Clubhouse on Saturdays on 670 The Score, plug, 9 to 11 a.m. I'll be there this Saturday. Definitely seems like a candidate. It'll be interesting to see the teams that don't get Juan Soto, where they move from there. You don't know Cody Bellinger or anything in terms of loyalty. Tom, my man. I used to call him Mr. Sanitas, but I think we've gotten to a point where those days have passed. Still think you're Mr. Sanitas to me. Here's the thought. If the Bears beat the Commanders, do they perform better against Arizona, New England? If so, does Wall. That's a great point that no one's talking about. Like, to me, I think the Arizona, New England games are more on the head coach than they are on Waldron because of how flat they played, how flat they looked, how flat they were. They scored 12 points in those two games. There's absolutely no excuse. The New England games, that to me was the Matt Eberflus, like, he gone game. It was. I mean, zero excuse to lose to that team in your home, on your home field, on your home turf. Terrible. So, yeah, I don't know if Waldron still, like, that's a question. That's a really good question. I don't know if, like, they beat the Commanders, so you automatically perform better. I think they probably still lose the Arizona game. The New England game, they got their ass kicked. I don't know. I don't think Waldron was showing any signs before the Commanders game. They were terrible. Like, the first half, it's like they were still all in the bye. Keeping Sheets and Vaughn is stupid. You're not getting the results that you want. Well, my question would just be, like, who are you plugging those holes with? You think they're going out and signing guys to multi-year deals? I'm telling you, that's not happening. Who do you got behind him? That's the problem. Andrew Vaughn's led the team in RBI the last 3 seasons. Who are you replacing him with for $6 million? I'm just telling you. Tell me, like, you want to get rid of these guys? Who are you filling them with? Who are you replacing them with? It's not that easy sometimes if you're not spending the money. Laz wants the Cubs to prioritize a catcher, top of the rotation, pitcher, and bullpen. Well, they did that today by trading for Eli Morgan of the Cleveland Guardians. I'm with you. I think they need a stud closer and I think they need a bat. Like, I think they need a big-time bat to complement Cody Bellinger. You can't just be like, well, it's Cody. No, your lineup didn't get it done this year. Your ballpark played small. Also, I don't want to hear that excuse anymore. Last thing I have for you guys, where do you stand? Since we do this on this show, start, bench, or cut, where do we stand on the Uncrustable? You know what's funny? I'm not like a big, like, make myself a PB&J, but like, when I'm running out the door and I haven't had something and these are in the freezer, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. And for those who have kids, like, these, I just feel like are on the bottom of every, like, mom bag. And they can still work without being refrigerated. Where are we at? Start, bench, cut. I'm not going to say start because I don't know what my other options are, but I'm certainly sure as hell not cutting them because the idea behind them is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Start or bench, depending on my options. It's definitely in play. I forgot that they were in the freezer this morning, and I grabbed them before I came to the office. I would want to play either Tim Elko or maybe you can play Benny at first base. Man, like, that's where we are. This thing's so bad. We're moving Andrew Benintendi to play first. I hear you. Like, it's Tim Elko might be a guy that can play. I don't know. I'm not willing. I want to see one more year of Andrew Benintendi with this new leadership, new hitting coordinator. Let's see what happens. Y'all remember the PB&J Graham wafer sandwich? Yes. D-Man Rock Your World. I think that's probably that's the origin of the Uncrustable. Probably came from the Graham wafer. That's a great call. All right, so you're starting or benching, right? You're not cutting the Uncrustable. I appreciate that. Mo. Tyreek has been so horrible lately, he couldn't play for DePaul. First off, DePaul's number 8 in the country, Mo, so have some damn respect and spell it right. P-A-U-W. I'm coming at you. You're going to come at me. I'm coming at you, Mo. They're in the playoffs. They got a first-round bye. There's no debate. Right now, we don't need the BS. All right? Third straight Mo Bell. We don't need the BS from Tyreek, you, or anybody else. If Cap saw you with those Uncrustables, he would say throw them away. He's no fun. Well, Cap supposed to be here like 35 minutes ago, so I'll call him out just like you called him out right there. I'm going to call him out. I'm going to see what his thoughts on the Uncrustable are. I have a feeling you're right. I have a feeling he's going to be like, that's garbage. I'm out, but we'll see. Are you okay with Ballesteros' bat with less defensive skills behind the plate? It's like tomato here for me on that, Laz. I mean, it just that's. I think they do need to upgrade the catcher position. David, Ryan, as a fan, who would you be more upset with? The Ricketts who choose not to spend quietly, or the Reinsdorfs who make it known they are not spending? Wow, David, maybe with the question of the day here, brought to you by Ink and Law. Huh? That's a great one. I'd say both should piss you off. Like the Ricketts got their World Series, revamped and rebuilt Wrigley Field, and now are kind of, trying to thread the needle, which in baseball you can't do. You either kind of are the haves and the have-nots, and then you have like the Guardians and the Rays and those organizations who know exactly who they are. They build through the draft. They trade maybe even too early to acquire up-and-coming players or trade their up-and-coming players who are going to be free agents soon. And then they finally, get a guy like Jose Ramirez and they extend him and keep him. I love it. So I don't know, David. I think both. People should be mad at both. Kurt, if Mahomes didn't have a great offensive line, he wouldn't be near as good. God damn it. Are we really doing that? Now we're just going to be like, what about Tom Brady? So Tom Brady he was not as good because of his offensive line. Guy barely ever had a Hall of Fame receiver. He had Randy Moss for like 3 seasons. Yes, he had Gronk when he was healthy. But come on, man. Mahomes is different. He's different. There's just a lot of people who love to hate him, which is fine. Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know, Eli. I saw something from a buddy of mine almost 20 years ago today. I think it was 18 years ago today. The Cubs signed Alfonso Soriano for 8 years or 9 years for 136. Where is it? 136 or 163? Hang on. It was 18 years ago, 8 years, 136. The Cubs did that 18 years ago, and the Sox still haven't signed an 8. Mike, better roster than last year and going to finish with a worse record. Totally inexcusable. Talking about the Bears. Yep, totally agree. That's why your head coach is going to be out. Did you buy Cap a birthday present? We got him his favorite cake. What was that called? Black Forest cake, Katie? Black Forest cake. Bunch of balloons. We had a parlay going. I beat him in our golf game over here. And yeah, every day we get together, man, it's like we shower each other with gifts. All right, lastly, Kurt, can you excuse Ricketts for not even attempting to get Soto? No, Ricketts should not be excused. You can't have the 7th highest payroll in baseball, but I'm out on this guy. The top 6 payrolls in baseball went to the playoffs last year. The Cubs are a major market team. If you care about winning, you go get the best players. Soto's a generational player in his mid-flipping 20s. Gosh, it's incredible. Dude's just a stud. He made Aaron Judge better because who are you pitching to? That's what I'm talking about. You got to protect Cody Bellinger. He should be getting me a Bloody Mary, Eli. Yeah, he should be getting me a Bloody Mary. We'll have one, though. We'll have one. We're having a little dinner tonight. So, all right, guys. We got some stuff to do. Plenty of stuff to come. The recap rush hour will be out later. All 3 of our teams' podcasts, the White Sox, the Cubs, and the Chicago Bulls with Joe Cowley and Vinny Goodwill from Yahoo Sports. Used to work here on the Bulls Beat back in the day. That's a new episode. All 3 of those pods were released. Check out Feldco Football Recap Live. That dropped last night. That was live. If you failed to watch that with Alex Brown and Tom Waddle, that's on the channel. Next Tuesday, we will be live from Hooters in Orland Park. So make your plans to be with us and make your plans to be here tomorrow as we will continue with the recap lunch hour with me, Ryan McGuffey. Till then, see you tomorrow.